Was I really worth $20 to you, Ethan Calloway? Madeline Hartwell's voice crossed the ballroom quietly, but every word carried. 300 guests stopped talking beneath crystal chandeliers. Cameras turned. A reporter lowered his microphone. At the edge of the room, 9-year-old Lily stood beside Ethan in a pale blue dress, one hand wrapped around two of his fingers. Ethan's rented suit fit badly across his shoulders, but he stood straight. Across the tables, Graham Sterling lifted a glass. "Tell us, Ethan," he said, "was dating our chief executive officer worth $20? A few people laughed. Then they noticed Madeline was not smiling. Ethan looked at her. He could have denied it. He could have blamed Ryan. He could have said Graham was twisting the story. Instead, he answered the only way he knew how. The $20 was real. A whisper moved through the room. Madeline's expression changed. "Did you take it?" "No." "Did the bet get you to walk over to me?" "Yes." "And did you ever plan to tell me?" Ethan hesitated. 1 second. That was enough. Madeline's eyes closed briefly. Lily tightened her grip on his hand. "Daddy," she whispered, "did we do something wrong coming here?" Ethan looked down and gently fixed the blue ribbon slipping from her shoulder. "No, sweetheart." His voice stayed calm. "Sometimes people confuse having power with having good character." Madeline heard him. So did Graham. His smile disappeared for half a second. 6 weeks earlier, Ethan Calloway's biggest concern had been keeping groceries under budget. He worked electrical jobs across Denver, packed Lily's lunches before sunrise, remembered school pickup, and calculated which bills could wait until Friday. His life was modest, crowded, exhausting, and unmistakably his own. Ryan Keller, his best friend since high school, believed Ethan had forgotten how to live outside responsibility. So one Friday night, inside Keller's diner, Ryan noticed a woman sitting alone near the counter. Her black town car waited outside. She wore a charcoal coat over a dark dress and checked her phone between coffee sips. Ryan leaned toward Ethan. "That's Madeline Hartwell." Ethan glanced over. The real estate CEO. Chief Executive Officer of Hartwell Properties. Half of downtown probably owes her rent. Ethan went back to his coffee. Ryan slid a $20 bill across the counter. $20 says you can't get a date. Ethan stared at him. "You are 40 years old. 39. You own a diner. Successful men still need hobbies." Ethan pushed the bill back. Ryan pushed it forward again. "Ask her out." Ethan glanced at Madeline. He noticed the thing no business magazine photographed. She looked tired. Not bored. Not arrogant. Tired in the way people looked when everyone wanted something from them. "Fine," Ethan said. "But keep your ridiculous $20. He stood. Ryan grinned. Ethan crossed the diner. Madeline looked up, already prepared for another introduction, request, or carefully disguised business pitch. Instead, Ethan nodded toward her coffee. "You look like someone who could use better coffee tomorrow." She blinked. "Are you asking me out or trying something clever?" "Coffee. Nothing clever. Nothing expensive. Nothing complicated." For the first time that evening, Madeline almost laughed. "Tomorrow morning. 9. Ethan nodded. "Okay." He walked back. Ryan pushed the 20 toward him with theatrical triumph. Ethan pushed it away. "That dare got me walking. Nothing more." Neither man understood how expensive those words would become. The next morning, Ethan arrived 7 minutes early. Being late was one of the few luxuries his life did not permit. He wore clean jeans, a navy button-down shirt, and work boots polished enough to show effort without pretending to be something else. At 9 exactly, Madeline entered the neighborhood coffee shop. No assistant. No driver. No entourage. You really came, she said. You said 9. Most people assume my schedule changes. Did it? She almost smiled. Not today. They ordered coffee and breakfast sandwiches. For the first 10 minutes, Madeline waited for the predictable questions. What is Hartwell Properties worth? Who do you know? Can you help someone get hired? Could she invest in something? Ethan asked none of them. Her phone lit up 4 times. You can answer. That, he said. I answer things all day. Then maybe nobody gets an answer for an hour. She studied him. Do you always talk to people like you're not trying to impress them? Trying too hard usually makes coffee worse. She laughed. The conversation moved toward ordinary things. Ethan told her Lily refused sandwiches cut into rectangles because triangles tasted better. Madeline admitted she owned an expensive kitchen she rarely used because she was seldom home before 10. When was the last time nobody needed a decision from you? Ethan asked. Madeline stopped. I don't remember. He nodded without pity. That mattered. Your turn, she said. Why haven't you remarried? Ethan's expression softened. Lily's mother died 6 years ago. After that, survival became a schedule. Work. School. Dinner. Bedtime. Repeat. And now? Now I'm trying to remember surviving and living aren't the same thing. Nearly 3 hours later, Madeline checked the time. I had a meeting 2 hours ago. That sounds expensive. She laughed again. At the door, she stopped. Are you going to ask me again? For coffee? For anything? Dinner Friday? 7. Friday became more complicated before it began. Lily's sitter called with the flu. Ethan phoned Madeline. I need to cancel. Everything okay? Sitter's sick. Lily comes first. There was a pause. Then bring Lily. Ethan frowned. To dinner. Children eat, don't they? 20 minutes later, Madeline entered a small Italian restaurant near Washington Park. Lily looked up at her. Are you Dad's fancy coffee friend? Ethan closed his eyes. Lily. Madeline laughed. I suppose I am. They ordered pizza. Lily talked about school, science projects, and a classmate convinced Colorado mountains were volcanoes. Madeline watched Ethan cut Lily's slice when it was too hot. He carried an extra hair tie around his wrist because she always lost hers. He remembered which vegetables she hated. None of it looked impressive. Somehow all of it did. Later, Lily leaned toward Madeline. Who hugs you when you have a bad day? Madeline's smile disappeared. I guess I handle bad days myself. Lily frowned. That sounds lonely. The question stayed with Madeline long after she returned to her penthouse. 3 nights later, she showed up at Ethan's house after 8 without calling. Her driver had dropped her 2 blocks away. Ethan opened the door wearing an old gray t-shirt and 1 sock. Madeline? I had a terrible day. He looked at her for 1 quiet second. Come in. Lily was asleep beneath a blanket in the living room. In the kitchen, pancake batter waited beside blueberries. Madeline stared at a burned pancake. Is that supposed to be food? It had potential. It looks like evidence. 10 minutes later, the billionaire CEO was barefoot in a modest kitchen arguing about pancake thickness. Her first folded in half. The second landed partly on the stove. The third came out almost perfect. Ethan lifted it with exaggerated respect. Leadership. Madeline laughed. Then she told him the truth. The board had approved a preliminary merger she did not want. My father taught me needing people makes you vulnerable, she said. If I owned enough, controlled enough, nobody could leave me with nothing. So you became good at not needing anyone. Yes. That sounds expensive. She laughed once. Then tears reached her eyes. Ethan did not rush to fix it. He simply stayed. You're not going to tell me everything will be fine. I'm an electrician. Not everything broken needs fixing tonight. Madeline looked at him differently after that. Not because he solved her problem. Because he made room for it. By Monday morning, Ethan understood how quickly a private joke could become a public weapon. Ryan called before 6. Don't open anything in front of Lily. Ethan stopped packing her lunch. What happened? Someone got an old message. Ethan already knew which one. Across town, Madeline entered Hartwell Properties and found the lobby strangely quiet. Claire, her executive assistant, met her with a tablet. CEO romance began as $20 bet. Beneath the headline was Ryan's old message. $20 says you cannot get a date with her. The article called Ethan an opportunist. It called Madeline reckless. It called their relationship entertainment. Inside the boardroom, Graham Sterling waited. This is unfortunate. Who leaked it? Does that change whether it's true? Madeline stared at him. The answer followed her all morning. By noon, she sat inside Ethan's pickup near a quiet park. Was there a bet? Yes. Did Ryan dare you to ask me out? Yes. Did you take the money? No. Did you ever plan to tell me? Ethan breathed slowly. I should have. That wasn't my question. No, the honesty hurt more than an excuse. I never took the money, he said. Ryan pushed me to stand up. Everything after that was mine. Coffee. Dinner. Lily. That night in my kitchen. You knew how hard trust is for me. I did. And you still let strangers tell me first. Yes. Madeline looked toward the windshield. I need time. Take it. She opened the door. Then stopped. Was any of it real? Every part that mattered. Madeline closed her eyes. That answer would have meant more before today. She stepped out. That night, Madeline returned to her penthouse and found the silence unbearable. She set her keys on the marble counter and saw the kitchen reflected in the dark window. Not Ethan's kitchen. Hers. Perfect surfaces. Perfect lighting. No burned pancakes. No child asleep under a blanket. Her phone filled with messages. Board members. Public relations advisors. 2 journalists requesting comment. 1 director asking whether the merger vote should be delayed. Madeline ignored all of them. Instead, she opened the photograph Lily had drawn 3 weeks earlier. 3 people standing outside a purple house. She had kept it inside a work folder because she had not known where else to put it. Now every line felt dangerous. She thought about Ethan's answer. Every part that mattered. Then she thought about the answer he had not given. Why did you wait? Because there was no good answer. Across town, Ethan sat on Lily's bed while she pretended to organize school books. Is Madeline mad at me too? She asked. No, how do you know? Because none of this is your fault. Lily looked down. Did you use her? Ethan took a breath. No, then why does everybody say you did? Because a true thing can still be used to tell a false story. She frowned. That sounds complicated. It is. Did you make it complicated? Ethan looked at her. Yes. Lily nodded slowly. Then she handed him the $20 bill from the kitchen table. You should throw this away. Ethan looked at it. No, why? Because pretending it never existed would be another kind of lie. He folded it once and placed it in the drawer beside old family photographs. I need to remember where I went wrong. Lily climbed beneath her blanket. Just don't let remembering make you stupid forever. Ethan laughed despite himself. I'll work on that. 2 days passed. Ethan worked. He replaced wiring in an old duplex near Capitol Hill, picked Lily up, cooked spaghetti, checked homework, and kept moving. Then a black sedan stopped beside his job site. Graham Sterling stepped out. He wore a dark overcoat that probably cost more than Ethan's monthly mortgage payment. Mr. Calloway. You came a long way for someone who could have called. Some conversations deserve privacy. Graham handed him a leather folder. Inside was a confidentiality agreement. And a check. Enough to pay the mortgage. Enough to build most of Lily's college fund. Enough to erase years of financial pressure. You sign, you stop speaking to the press, and you remove yourself from Madeline's life. Ethan looked up. She asked you to do this? Madeline doesn't need to ask me to protect the company. That wasn't my question. You've become a liability. Ethan stared at the check. For several seconds, temptation had details. A furnace that needed replacing. A worn backpack. No overtime. No late notices. Then Ethan put the check back. You think the problem is I don't have enough money. Everyone has practical concerns. No. The problem is you think everyone has a price. Graham's smile disappeared. You should consider what happens next. Reporters. Questions at your daughter's school. People following every mistake you make. That landed where the money did not. Ethan glanced at a family photograph inside his toolbox lid. Lily stood between him and her late mother, missing 2 front teeth. No, Ethan said quietly. I don't want that life for her. Graham mistook the answer for surrender. Then we understand each other. Ethan shook his head. No. I'm not taking your money. He handed the folder back. And if Madeline comes back? That'll be her decision. Not yours. Graham left. But he did not leave the matter alone. The next morning, a school administrator asked Ethan to use the side entrance because a local photographer had been waiting near pickup. That afternoon, one of his regular contractors said a client had concerns about publicity. 2 scheduled jobs disappeared from the calendar. At dinner, Lily pushed peas around her plate. Are people mad at us? No, then why are you working Saturday? Ethan looked at her. Because bills don't read newspapers. Lily did not laugh. Did the rich man offer you money? Ethan froze. How do you know that? Ryan heard you talking. He sighed. Yes. Was it a lot? Yes. Why didn't you take it? Ethan thought for a moment. Because if I took money to disappear, I'd be letting someone else decide what I'm worth. Lily looked at him. And what are you worth? Ethan smiled faintly. Depends who's asking. To me? He reached across the table. Then I'm doing okay. The financial pressure became real faster than Ethan expected. The 2 lost jobs represented nearly a week of income. A third client postponed a maintenance contract after someone emailed the article to its building manager. Ethan opened his banking app at midnight and calculated the next 6 weeks. Mortgage. Utilities. Groceries. Lily's school fees. The furnace repair he had been delaying. He could cover everything if nothing else went wrong. That was never a comforting sentence. Ryan offered to lend him money. Ethan refused. Stop being proud, Ryan said. I'm not. You absolutely are. I'm not taking money because you feel guilty. Ryan's face changed. This is partly my fault. It started with your joke. It continued because I made choices. Ryan looked toward the diner window. I should have kept my mouth shut when Graham came asking questions. Yes. Ryan winced. Ethan continued. But I should have told Madeline before Graham had anything to ask about. Neither man spoke for a moment. Ryan finally nodded. So what do I do? Be my friend. That's annoyingly vague. Then start by not fixing something you didn't break alone. Ryan smiled faintly. Now you sound like somebody who works with wires. The next morning Ethan accepted an emergency overnight job at an apartment complex where a failed distribution panel had left half the building without heat. He worked until 3:30. At 4:15, he sat in his truck drinking gas station coffee. At 6, he was home making Lily breakfast. She watched him from the table. You look terrible. Thank you. Did you sleep? Technically. That means no. Ethan slid toast onto her plate. You worry too much. You taught me. He almost smiled. The scandal had made him poorer in money, sleep, and certainty. But it had also removed one excuse. There was nothing left to hide behind. Across the city, Madeline did not know about the offer. Graham told the board Ethan had accepted reality and stepped away. Madeline believed him. At first. Then Claire noticed something strange. Graham had asked legal for a copy of a confidentiality agreement that Madeline had never authorized. Claire did not confront him. She saved the internal request number. The next day she discovered a payment authorization drafted but never executed. Recipient, Ethan Calloway. She saved that too. Madeline, meanwhile, tried to return to work. The merger vote approached. Graham pressed harder. We need certainty. You mean control. I mean leadership. No. You mean agreement. Graham's expression cooled. You're letting this man make you emotional. Madeline looked at him. You keep calling him a threat. He is. To the company? Graham hesitated. Madeline noticed. That night, Claire entered Madeline's office. I think you should see something. She placed 2 printed pages on the desk. The NDA request. The unissued payment. Madeline read them twice. Did I authorize this? No, who did? Graham. Madeline's face went still. Don't confront him yet. Claire nodded. I wasn't planning to. Keep digging. The investigation grew carefully. Claire did not search private accounts or break rules to catch Graham. She followed authorization trails. One communications invoice had been split across 2 departments. One legal request had bypassed Madeline's office. One outside consultant had received event footage under a vague reputation assessment label. None of it proved a leak by itself. Together, it formed a pattern. Claire brought the documents to Hartwell's general counsel. He read them in silence. If this goes where I think it goes, he said, we need chain of custody on everything. Claire nodded. I know. Does Madeline know? Enough to know we're looking. Keep it that way until we can prove it. That same afternoon, Graham entered Madeline's office without knocking. You moved the merger review. I delayed it 48 hours. Because of him? Madeline looked up. Because I don't sign 9-figure decisions while my executive team is hiding things from me. Graham's face remained calm. That sounds like an accusation. It sounds like a fact. He stepped closer. You built this company by making difficult decisions quickly. No. I built it by making difficult decisions with information. And now? Now I'm discovering how much information someone thought I didn't need. For the first time, Graham looked genuinely uncertain. Madeline noticed. He recovered. Be careful, Madeline. Personal resentment can destroy professional judgment. She closed the file in front of her. So can personal entitlement. Graham left without another word. Now the gala invitation arrived. It was addressed to Lily Calloway. Her school had received a science grant from the Hartwell Education Foundation, and Lily had been chosen to represent the students during the annual charity gala. Ethan read the letter twice. Lily only cared about one sentence. "Dad, I get to speak on stage." Ethan considered declining. Then he looked at his daughter. This was her accomplishment. Not his scandal. Not Madeline. Not Graham. You get to speak on stage. The afternoon of the gala, Ethan nearly changed his mind. He stood in the bedroom holding Ryan's borrowed suit while Lily sat on the floor painting over a scuff on her shoes with blue marker. "We don't have to go," he said. Lily looked up. "Yes, we do." "Why?" "Because I practiced my speech." "That is not a legal obligation." "It is to me." Ethan smiled faintly. Then Lily became serious. "Are you scared?" "No," she stared at him. "Dad." He sat on the edge of the bed. "Yes." "Of Graham?" "No, of Madeline." "Maybe." "Why?" "Because when someone matters, disappointing them hurts more than being hated by somebody who doesn't." Lily considered that. "Then don't disappoint her tonight." "I'm not planning to." "Good." She went back to coloring the shoe. At Hartwell headquarters, Madeline was also considering not attending. Her general counsel advised her to skip the gala if the investigation might become public. Graham argued the opposite. "Absence will look weak." Madeline looked at him. "I'm going because 3 schools are receiving grants tonight. Not because you're afraid of headlines." Claire entered and quietly handed Madeline a note. "Trace complete, final authorization pending." Madeline folded it. "Not proof yet. But close." She looked toward the ballroom schedule. For the first time, the gala felt less like a celebration than a room waiting for a match. Friday evening, Ethan borrowed a dark suit from Ryan. He tied Lily's ribbon twice because she disliked the first knot. They drove downtown beneath an orange Colorado sky. Before entering the hotel, Ethan knelt beside her. "If anyone asks you about me or Madeline, you don't answer." "What do I say?" "You say tonight is about your school." "Is tonight about my school?" He smiled. "Yes." Inside, crystal chandeliers reflected across polished floors. Madeline stood near the stage in a navy gown. Then she saw Ethan. Her expression changed. She had believed Graham when he said Ethan had chosen to disappear. Yet there he stood carrying Lily's coat and checking her speech notes. He did not approach Madeline. He did not look for cameras. He stayed near his daughter. Graham appeared beside Madeline. "Interesting timing." "Don't." "I said nothing." "You usually don't have to." Claire stood near the stage with a thin folder. "Not enough yet." She had the NDA request and check authorization, but not proof of the leak. Madeline had ordered legal to trace the original article. They were still waiting. Lily delivered her speech. She talked about wanting to build machines that helped people. The applause was warm. Ethan smiled proudly. Madeline applauded longer than anyone. Then Graham walked toward the microphone. He was supposed to introduce the next donor. Instead, he looked toward Ethan. "It seems even our most unusual guests have found their way back." Madeline's face hardened. "Graham," he continued. "Perhaps Mr. Calloway can finally answer the question everyone has been asking." Ethan did not move. Was getting a date with Madeline really worth $20? Nervous laughter crossed the room. Lily looked at her father. Madeline stepped forward. "Stop." Graham looked at her. "If you want the questions to stop, answer them." Madeline's eyes flashed. This is not a board meeting. No. This is worse. These are donors. Ethan walked to Lily and straightened her ribbon. Come on, sweetheart. Graham lifted his glass. Running away again. Ethan stopped. For the first time, anger showed plainly on his face. Ryan, near the back, took one step forward. Ethan raised a hand. No. He looked at Graham. You offered me money to disappear. The ballroom froze. Graham's expression changed. Madeline turned toward him. What? Graham recovered quickly. That is absurd. Ethan nodded toward Claire's folder. Ask legal. Madeline looked at Claire. Claire stepped forward. I have the request. Graham's face tightened. It was standard risk management. Madeline took the papers. An NDA. A payment authorization. Her name nowhere. She looked up. You told me he walked away. He did. I told you I gave her space, Ethan said. Graham ignored him. We were protecting the company. Madeline's voice turned cold. You keep using that sentence. At that moment, Claire's phone vibrated. She looked at the screen. Then at Madeline. Legal traced the original leak. The ballroom seemed to shrink. Who? Claire hesitated only because the answer was so serious. A media consultant retained through a discretionary communications account. Graham stared at her. Claire continued. The authorization came from Mr. Sterling's office. No one laughed now. Graham stepped away from the microphone. This is neither the time. Nor the place. Madeline turned toward him. You're right. Her voice remained calm. This should never have happened in any place. She handed the documents to the chairman of the board. Graham's practiced confidence began to crack. Those records lack context. The check doesn't. It was never issued. Because he refused it, Claire said. Madeline looked toward Ethan. You refused? Yes. How much? Ethan did not answer immediately. Enough. Graham cut in. He knew staying near you would be worth more. Ethan's jaw tightened. Madeline turned on Graham. No, the word was sharper than shouting. You do not get to rewrite someone's motive because you cannot imagine a person refusing leverage. Graham laughed bitterly. You're defending a man who admitted your relationship began as a bet. Madeline looked at Ethan. I'm not forgetting what he did. Then back to Graham. But Ethan's mistake does not give you permission to manufacture a campaign, lie to me, intimidate him, and use my company to do it. The chairman asked Graham to leave pending immediate review. Graham started to protest. Then Madeline said something that finally silenced him. My father taught me power meant never needing anyone. You taught me something worse. You taught me what happens when someone mistakes access to me for ownership of me. Graham's face hardened. Security approached. He left beneath the chandeliers that had seemed to protect him minutes earlier. The room remained silent. Madeline turned toward Ethan. For 1 second, everyone waited for a reconciliation. They did not get one. I should have listened, she said. Ethan shook his head. You had a reason not to trust me. I had a reason to be hurt. That isn't the same as letting Graham decide what you were. Ethan looked at her. And I should have told you before anyone could use it. Yes. Their honesty carried more weight than an apology designed for an audience. Madeline took one step toward him. I'm not asking you to forgive me tonight. Good. A tired smile touched her face. I'm asking for the chance to become someone worth trusting again. Lily looked between them. Then slipped her hand into Madeline's. Madeline froze. You can start by staying for dessert, Lily said. Ethan looked at his daughter. Subtle. I'm 9. For the first time that night, Madeline laughed. Ethan did not promise anything. He stayed. For the next 48 hours after the gala, the company became louder than ever. News outlets reported Graham's suspension. Donors asked whether grant programs would continue. Board members demanded a formal chronology. Madeline refused to let communications turn Ethan into a company-approved hero. He is not a campaign, she told the public relations director. But his refusal of the payment helps us. It helps him. We are not using it. The public will want to know. Then the public can want. That decision surprised several people. It also mattered more than Ethan knew. When reporters found him outside a supply store the next morning, they shouted questions. Mr. Calloway, did you refuse a 6-figure payment? Are you getting back together with Madeline Hartwell? Did the company promise you compensation? Ethan opened his truck door. No comment. One reporter stepped closer. People are calling you the honest electrician. Ethan stopped. He looked at the man. Yesterday they called me an opportunist. The reporter went quiet. Ethan continued. Neither headline knows me. Then he got into the truck and left. At home that evening, Lily watched a news clip showing his answer. You sounded grumpy. I was grumpy. Are you famous now? No, you're on television. That is not the same thing. She grinned. Can I tell people my dad is the honest electrician? No, can I tell them you burn grilled cheese? That is unfortunately accurate. For the first time in weeks, the house felt normal. The next morning, the board formally suspended Graham. But the story was not over. Legal discovered he had used company resources to collect information about Ethan's contractors and had quietly encouraged 2 clients to reassess reputational exposure. Madeline read the emails in silence. That afternoon, she drove to Ethan's job site. He was loading cable into his truck. What happened? She handed him the documents. He interfered with your work. Ethan read them. His face hardened. I thought those clients just got nervous. So did I. He handed the papers back. Are you going to restore the contracts? I can't order private clients to hire you. Good. Madeline blinked. Good. I don't want you fixing my life because you feel guilty. I wasn't going to. Ethan studied her. Then what are you going to do? Give you the evidence. Let you decide. That answer mattered. Ethan nodded. Thank you. Madeline turned to leave. Madeline. She stopped. I'm still angry too. She looked back. At me? At myself. For what? For knowing the beginning was stupid and still being too afraid to tell you once it stopped being stupid. Madeline's eyes softened. Then maybe we're both angry at the right things now. 4 months passed. Rebuilding trust happened somewhere quieter than boardrooms. Madeline came to Lily's school science night and sat in a folding chair beside parents wearing work jackets and sneakers. She helped Lily paint cardboard planets. She learned Tuesday laundry somehow created more missing socks than any other day. She stopped arriving with explanations. She started arriving with consistency. Ethan noticed. He did not make forgiveness dramatic. He simply stopped closing every door. One cold Friday evening, Madeline entered Keller's diner wearing a wool coat dusted with snow. Ryan looked up from behind the counter. Your usual. Coffee first. Courage second. Ethan sat in the corner booth with Lily, helping her finish a model bridge. Madeline approached. Lily saw her first. You came. I said I would. Ethan looked up. Their eyes held. No boardroom. No reporters. No people deciding what either of them should be worth. Ryan appeared beside the booth and placed a $20 bill on the table with exaggerated seriousness. I feel history deserves another opportunity. Ethan pushed it back. No bets. Ryan raised both hands. Understood. Lily giggled. Madeline sat across from Ethan. That may be the smartest decision you've made. I've made at least 3 smarter ones. Name them. Ethan glanced at Lily. Becoming her father. Keeping the house after things got hard. Then he looked back at Madeline. And asking you for coffee. Her smile softened. Technically Ryan caused that. Ryan caused me to stand up. I made the walk. Silence settled between them. Warm. Not uncertain. Ethan reached for his coffee. Dinner Friday? Madeline blinked. Are you asking me out? Nothing clever. Nothing expensive. Nothing complicated. She recognized the words. 7. Lily leaned back. Finally. 1 year later, a photograph hung beside Ethan's kitchen window. 3 people beneath a Colorado autumn sky. Lily stood between Ethan and Madeline in a pale blue dress, holding flowers and laughing so hard Madeline was laughing too. Their wedding had been small. Ryan served as best man. No reporters. No corporate speeches. No chandeliers. Madeline remained chief executive officer. Ethan remained an electrician who packed lunches before sunrise. Neither needed the other to become smaller so love could fit. Behind the counter at Keller's Diner, the old $20 bill sat inside a cheap frame. Ryan had written 3 words beneath it. Not the reason. Because a dare may introduce 2 strangers. Money may measure a company. Status may command a room. But none of those things can build a family. That takes patience. Truth. Grace. And the quiet dignity to choose someone again after both people finally understand what the choice costs.